Thanks, Sean, for the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about Zensors. Yeah, we're a CMU startup. We spun out actually in 2018, leveraging really one of the core strengths of CMU, which is as an AI leader. We actually just graduated from Y Combinator last year and raising another round pretty soon. And retail is one of the sectors that we really think is kind of juicy for disruption. I don't need to really go into this in any tremendous detail, but everyone knows that the kind of digital retail experience has gone through tremendous evolution, but that in-store brick and mortar experience is tremendously difficult to evolve. And importantly, a lot of other previous in-store kind of digital augmentations have really fallen short. I think people have been overpromised for a really long time. You know, the magic of Bluetooth beacons and Wi-Fi monitoring and line length and queue management. And a lot of those things have really fallen flat. They're either wildly inaccurate, difficult to maintain, or just expensive to deploy, and generally, actually, all three. And so really we kind of went bottom up, thinking about what do organizations already have deployed institutionally. And one of the big things that we noticed is people have CCTV cameras. No big shocker there. If you go to any kind of retail environment or most retail environments, or really any kind of complex, large commercial space, whether that be airports or a commercial office building, you're going to see cameras deployed. So a lot of companies have already made really substantial investments in camera technology. So typically, there's tens or hundreds or even thousands of cameras at our customers, and what we do is we just kind of suck that data on board. We either give them a device at no cost that automatically discovers their enterprise cameras. These all use open protocols, or we can onboard it through working with their IT department. But critically, what it lets you do is once you kind of suck that data in, is it lets you have zero upfront cost. So we go to customers and we say, let's say they want to run a study. They want to test 2 different end caps in a retail experience, and they want to test, kind of A/B test 2 different designs. That would typically require people with clipboards, clickers and so on, looking at that, and you'd have to test it maybe in 2 different stores or over 2 different weeks. But you can actually do this really easily using the existing camera infrastructure. And so we charge our customers zero upfront cost to do this because we're using their existing cameras, and we can actually have it totally up and running in 48 hours. And if I don't have a picture of the interface on here, so if you're curious of what this actually looks like from a process perspective, I encourage you to go to our website, Zensors.com. But it literally is as easy as you see sort of a camera feed. You pull up a camera feed and you click your mouse and you lasso an area that you care about. So let's say it's an end cap or an aisle in a retail experience, and you literally type a plain English question like, how long do people dwell here? How many couples are stopping in front of here? Just plain English. There's no AI, there's no code, and you type that question and you hit go. And you set the frequency, and you get automatically generated reports. You can download the CSV file. You can integrate it into your other BI systems. We really believe that your data is owned by you. You can just freely download it from our platform. And the way we verify that our AI is actually doing the appropriate job is we're spot checking with humans in the loop all the way down. So we really believe that you have to give people, empower kind of companies to do quick testing. If it takes 2 months to do a deployment, you've lost that customer. So there's really kind of 3 pillars in the retail space that we look at: shopper insights, operational management, and enhanced security. I've pulled out just a few examples just to kind of illustrate this, but this is not an atypical view from a camera that might be in a grocery store. And we're looking at things like dwell time. Are they putting items into their baskets? What are the demographics of the groups? Is it a single man, single woman, family of 5, whatever it might be? And we actually can track them through the entire retail experience as well. And importantly, we're not doing Face ID. We really actually don't believe in that, but we're doing hashes of basically their current apparel, so we can track them through, but it's essentially anonymizing, and if they come back in a week later, we don't know who they are. And that's an important tenet of the company. Looking at kind of aisle level things, what's the density, where are people accumulating, how much time do they spend in that aisle? Asset utilizations, where are the forklifts parked? Where are the trucks coming into the bays? Where are the carts? We can automatically track that. We do a lot with parking lots, actually large-scale parking lots. The sensor that you have to put in every single spot in order to do parking lot occupancy, enormously expensive. And 10 years from now, you're ripping them all out of the concrete. Just use the existing cameras that are there. So we do a lot with kind of curbside and parking management. And if you have decent views, this is where it gets a little trickier because you have to have good coverage of cameras, but we can look at kind of stock and what people are taking out. In terms of delivering, how do you, and so great, you have a ton of data. This is sort of this big data problem. Wow, you have tons of data locked in some database. What do you do with it? Well, we have a whole no-code and low-code if you want to, but no-code way to create mobile applications. So if you want to set notifications, push notifications of when the line length at the checkout exceeds 15 people, you automatically send a push notification to an employee so they can come to the front of the house as opposed to having to pick up a phone. And you can do these trivially, these kind of applications with a no-code interface. Same with sort of efficient scheduling, right? How do you actually do this? I mean, essentially humans are acting as sensors in a lot of these cases, saying we know we get busy on Saturday afternoons, let's staff an extra person, but you can actually expose that data. And then, building kind of more kind of integrated customer experiences. We're working a little bit in fast casual restaurants and having people be able to soften that lunch line, even just by 5 minutes. People show up to say, this line's too long. They disengage. Having ways to drive coupons or kind of promotions to people to say, hey, come at 11:50 as opposed to 12:15 actually lets you do more sales. And this is actually a great example of one of our no-code interfaces. We have a drag and drop interface that lets you push this to both employees and customers. So we're already working with a bunch of people. Actually, this slide's a bit out of date. We just deployed at Toronto Pearson Airport, and that's a great example of a very kind of heterogeneous environment with lots of complex facets, a lot like a retail experience. Giant Eagle, if you're a Pittsburgher, you know about Giant Eagle. So these are just some of the companies that we're working with. So if that intrigues you and you want to see a demo of this, I mean, it sounds kind of too good to be true, I imagine, because there's been a lot of false promises. So if you actually want to see a demo of this, come grab me at one of the breaks or definitely shoot me an email. Thanks so much.